you can't force things with some horses, and a lot of horses you can't. You know, you've got to give them respect, and then they'll give you your respect. Like Dewey and I ride, my little brother, man. We let the horse be a horse.
Yeah,
now we don't let them get away with it. We correct things.
Yeah.
But they still got to be a horse.
Yeah, he's the one that's really kind of leading.
You can't, and that's one thing they don't. A lot of people don't like about these Hancock horses. They don't fully mature until they're 9 or 10.
Really? It's a long time.
They don't stop growing until they're 6. She's 3.
Oh wow! So she's still young, very young.
She's a baby.
Yeah.
So, and you break them at 2.
How do you break them exactly?
Some people, like when they used to wait until they're about 5 or 6, and then they go out there.
You can come up here and sit.
They'd pitch a loop on them, and they would hold them down. Someone would.
You'll hear them down.
And then they'd throw a saddle on them, and usually the
Just
biggest.
wrestle them down.
Old school, the old timers. They had a mare you couldn't ride, breed her, kick her out. I have no idea why, and they'd breed this. Well, then they would not touch halter break or anything, these horses, until they're 5 or 6. Then they'll gather them, and they'll break them and ride them that day.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes several.
Wow.
But they don't ride horses. These Hancock horses, when I talk about foundation bred, they're old school bred. I can take you over here and show you our family's ranch. And there's pastures that went from here in Burbank all the way to Shidler to Highway 18. All the way to Highway 60.
Wow.
That was one pasture. Dad said it'd take 2-3 days to gather it all.
One? Wow. That's a lot of land.
And he said, so they would gather these horses, and you wouldn't touch them until then. They wouldn't be halter broke. Well, when you ear them down, and I've done it a lot, is you wrap your arm around their head, you use this arm to cover their eyes, and you bring your other arm across their nose. With this arm covering their eyes, you take that ear, and you bend it, and you bite it. And they'll stand as long as you've got that ear bit.
They just won't move?
They sometimes they won't, and sometimes you'll get tossed around for a bit.
And that's how you
and
break
then you
them?
just bite harder. There's
Really?
been horses I've eared down that my canines ripped that ear.
Wow.
And some guys, you can twitch them. You put their bottom lip and that chain on a piece of wood, and you twist it and hold that lip down to get control. But you'll do that, or you can put a blanket over their head where they can't see it, or you can lay them down on the ground, or you can use another horse to snub them when you get a halter on them, or you'll rope them and pull them up close where their head's in your lap on another horse, and they'll slide over from your horse to theirs with a saddle, and saddle them usually without a saddle pad, and then you get on them and you ride them until they stop bucking.
Yeah.
And then, but people don't like them nowadays, like these Hancocks.
Because they don't get ready.
They don't have the patience, because what they want to do is they've got a business out of it. I'm going to buy this colt. I'm going to ride him for 90 days. I'm going to make him good using horse. And I'm going to sell him and double or triple my money. Boom, we'll get the next one. We're going to roll through that one. And I'm not like that. I buy horses. I get along with them. They're good to me. They stay. They don't. They get sold and they go on.
You find a connection
I
with
weed
horses.
through them.
Yeah, you want to
But
find that connection with them.
The way they used to feed cattle in this area, and I can take you and show you, they had feed houses. Just a barn or a silo. And they had 100-pound sacks of feed that were sewn shut, just gunny sacks, burlap sacks. You'd ride your horse every day, all winter long, to those, and you'd feed those cows out of that barn, and you'd ride to the next one, you'd trot to the next one. And then you'd feed them, you'd trot to the next one. Well, these old school foundation horses like this are bred to be ridden like that. Them guys would ride all day, and everybody had roping arenas. And there's all them brush tracks like we were talking about before, the old race tracks. So they would ride, and like my aunt, Frances Ofield, was my grandpa's sister. She was a Donelson. When everybody was off in World War II, she was the one that rode and fed.
Wow, that's cool.
And we're talking miles and miles and
Yeah.
miles and miles. And she fed while everybody's off to war. And anyway, so these horses were made to ride like that. Well, you may ride all day long feeding. That evening, Friday, Saturday night, you might ride to the neighbors. You may rope, trip steers, team rope, calf rope, whatever's going on. You may ride and rope.
Boxman.
You may run a match race because somebody shot their mouth off, said I got the fastest horse around, and then ride him home next morning to get up and do it all again on the same horse. So these horses are bred to be just tough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big guy. They've bred all these horses smaller and finer boned, and they've taken so much out of them. That's why I bought that horse out of Alberta.
Yeah, he showed me that one.
What's
The big blue one, the one that keeps trying to get in here, Jessie.
Yeah.
I brought her home to breed to a cutting horse. Some of these cutting horses are bred so cowbred that they hit the ground as soon as they can walk their working cattle. But they're tiny and fine boned. He's 11, he's 5'6", 170 pounds. I'm 6'9" and 350. Dewey's 6'6" or 6'5" and a couple hundred pounds. We're big individuals, and
Yeah.
so it's like, getting on and off of her is a feat. But even though she's gentle, it's just a long goddamn ways up there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's your old school foundation, like I said. Well, those guys that are made a business out of it, they don't want to wait the 8 years it takes for that horse to mature, the 6 years for him to finish growing, because they want to flop and make money. Me, I'm looking for the horse that's going to be around for, and they treat me good like Whopper. He's earned his right to stand out there in that pasture and get fat,
Yeah.
make all the trouble he wants. That's his right.
And
Like I
that,
said, if I die before he does, he'll go with me.
that kind of connection, like you were saying the other day, with the call people, like the call people are horse masters, basically horse riders, and that's kind of in your blood, that kind of respect that you give to the horse and that it gives to you, and it's not just a horse, it's a living, breathing being that you can connect with, that you both,
And the personalities.
symbiotic relationship. Yeah,